coming here this evening and giving a presentation. I always encourage folks, when you're passionate about something, then you should definitely speak up and advocate for it, so I thank you very much. My daughter Ellen ran track for a short stint, and when my parents would come visit, like you said, they just didn't want to stand there in order to watch the event. But I think you are blessed to have some wonderful coaches over there, Coach Bender, Coach Picard, who are extremely dedicated, and that attributes a lot to the success that you all have achieved. Ms. Trout, I'd like to say I think you bring up a very good point about shore exploration. It is interesting to know that they on their own have not chosen to hold their own forum in order to educate folks on their corporation and their practices. Instead, they tend to wait on everyone else to provide them with a forum. So it is interesting. While the rest of us instead move forward and plan our own forums. With regards to my board report, on the 5th, I attended Ms. Anderson's government class at the high school to answer questions from the students about local government. That afternoon, I met with Delegate Ranson at her Richmond office. I talked with her about the flooding concerns on St. Paul's Road, the concern that the intersection of Dahlgren and Owens still does not meet the warrants for a traffic light, and her views on Senator Stewart's Senate Bill 48 relative to fracking, and shared with her the concerns from the tulip business at the industrial park with regards to the lack of progress on the gas line to the industrial park. I was very pleased to learn the following week at our work session that she had already taken action by arranging a meeting with the president of Columbia Gas to meet with our economic development director, county administrator, and chairman. That evening, I attended the Rural Action Caucus dinner in Richmond. I had the opportunity to meet the governor and his wife. I took advantage of the opportunity to inform him about the county's interest in seeing the gas line extended to our industrial park. The governor was genuinely interested in learning more about the project. On the morning of the 6th, I met with Senator Stewart and Senator McDougal. In discussing the need to extend the gas line to the industrial park, Senator Stewart told me he had great contacts at Columbia Gas and he would be happy to make a call to assist us in this matter. I was pleased to see that all of our state representatives were all very genuinely interested in supporting this project. That afternoon, I attended the Virginia Association of Counties luncheon where the governor was the guest speaker. On the 9th, I hosted a town hall event at Belgrove Plantation to provide an opportunity for business leaders in the community to share their concerns and questions with Senator Warner. On the 10th, I attended the budget work session at the library. It would appear there are some very important needs in our community that require funding. This will require some tough decisions to be made with regards to those things that are simply nice to have. On the 12th, I attended the Comrell meeting in Waldorf. And I'd like to make everyone aware that the Charles County, Maryland Project Linus Blanketeers continue to donate blankets to our county by sending them to social services, Love Thy Neighbor, and fire rescue. We appreciate our neighbors always thinking of us.
Thank you, Ms. Bradwell. Ms. Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to appoint Mr. Richard Neal to the Landfill Advisory Board for the Shiloh District.
Need a second?
Let me say it again, they said they couldn't hear me. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to appoint Mr. Richard Neal to the Landfill Advisory Board for the Shiloh District.
Motion or second?
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries.
I do want to commend the track team, ladies. I commend you for the great job that you're doing and the positive spirit you have. Even the way the track looks, you've still got determination and positivity that you're going to do the right thing. And I was encouraged on how you're looking towards the future. You're not so much worried about what you had to go through, but you don't want the people ahead of you to have to go through the same thing. And I commend you for that. And we'll do all we can to try to make that future happen for you. Ms. Trout, let you know, man, my wife had surgery last week, and I was not going to leave her at home on Wednesday night. The storm came in on Wednesday night, and I was not going to leave her at home, but preferably there'd be some other storms I'll be able to ride, but I thought my wife and family came before riding in the truck that day. On March the 17th, please write this down because this is history. Shiloh District will have a town meeting, March the 17th. The date, the place we're looking at right now, I'm trying to get Shiloh Church, the community center at Shiloh Church, so we're working on that venue right now, but we are planning for March the 17th. We wanted to wait until the time changed and got closer in the spring. Hopefully we wouldn't have any more snow. And I think the time change will be then by March 17th. That's St. Patrick's Day. All right. That's all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Again, congratulations to the track team on your excellent seasons and the awards that you have won. And again, excellent presentation. As far as shore exploration, just so you know, the representative from Shore approached me after the meeting and asked if he could get put on an agenda, and we'll be working that. So I didn't seek them out. They came up and asked them volunteers to do that. And we'll get them on. We're working to get DEQ as well, so that'll be coming in a future meeting, and we'll make sure everybody knows that. On the 7th of February, I participated in a meeting of the Rappahannock United Way Finance Committee. On the 10th, I participated in the first budget work session to kick off the board's FY14-15 budget processing. As was noted, as usual, we'll have our challenges to ferret all of this out. On the 11th of February, I went to Richmond with the County Administrator and Economic Development Director to meet with representatives of Columbia Gas and Delegate Ranson and Senator McDougal. We appreciate Delegate Ranson for setting up and hosting the meeting. I think it was a good exchange and everyone was able to clearly articulate concerns and issues from each entity's perspective. We'll now see what results transpire. It also appears there may be some changes introduced to how the SEC allows expansion to be done. What we did learn is SEC rules limit the amount of money that they can actually put towards expansion. And it's sort of the catch-22, which comes first? Does the business have to come and then they can expand? So we told them that if they could articulate that, we'd work with Senator McDougal and Senator Ransom to get SEC to look at changing that, to get it in a more proactive stance than a reactive stance. Our project has a couple of unique aspects to it. Part of that Spotsylvania loop that we talk about, it is a betterment project that's on their books. When the economy went back down, that got lower priority, of course, because there wasn't enough customer base. They're looking at that again. The president had said that they would take another look and get back to us to see where that goes. And then on the expansion piece, our piece, we'll be working that as well. So there was a good exchange. We did have the president of Columbia Gas there, who was engaged, brought his whole team, and I thought it was a very beneficial and open discussion that hopefully will get some movement. And again, time will tell. On the 12th, I also attended the quarterly Comro meeting, which was held in Waldorf. I'd like to comment that I felt VDOT did a good job with the last storm. You know, we beat them up a lot, but the preparation was outstanding. I know I saw before the storm came that they had gone and treated our major arteries, 206, 205, 301, 3, completely. I also noticed that there's been a change in their operation. They no longer have the contractor stop at the Stafford line. He's actually going down almost all the way to Hop Yard, so now we get some overlap of that contract continuum there. Part of it then becomes the challenge of synchronization, and that doesn't happen, and I think that's probably too hard, you know, because ideally the resident would like to see that continue straight through the whole county. Well, it gets done, but it gets done in piece parts, and we are seeing complete coverage, and it paid off this last time. But we also must remember that Mother Nature holds the upper hand, and the second wave presented challenges and issues for VDOT as well as the power companies and our fire and rescue team, all of whom met the challenges and within 24 hours had us moving and a minimum of power outage remaining. So I think hats off to the whole team, county, power, and VDOT for getting the job done. There's another note I'd like to make tonight. The county lost a great person this past Sunday. Captain Paul Anderson passed away after an illness. Captain Anderson led the base as the CO from 1977 to 1981. I actually served under him on the base. That was my last tour in the Navy there, 77 to 80. So I got to know Paul as a commanding officer, and then later his involvement in the community. Some may not know, but that visitor center down in 301 is really the result of Paul Anderson. His determination and commitment to getting that to happen really is what made that happen. So he was always a gentleman of the highest degree. He was a man you could count on, and he was a man that you could emulate and be better off for it. So we will miss Paul, and we wish his family our condolences at this time. So that's my report. Thank you. So at this time, I get my computer to cooperate. We'll have consent agenda.
Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion's been made, properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye, motion carries. Constitutional officers. Let's see, any county attorney?
No report this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go to presentations and reports. First one is update on Love Thy Neighbor program, which we asked for, and tonight Ms. Gina Panchero will do the presentation. Tim, going to introduce? I stole his thunder again.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Late last October, early November, the Board of Supervisors authorized Love Thy Neighbor to use the Citizens Center to serve a monthly meal and provide bags of groceries. Tonight, Gina Pansera is here to provide an update on their past year's operation.
Good evening. I first would like to thank each and every one of you. I greatly appreciate the support that you've given King George and also the support that you've given Love Thy Neighbor in allowing us to use the community center. I'd also like to extend a big thank you to Tim Smith and his staff. They've been very instrumental in helping us to provide the services that we have been giving to our fellow citizens here. Love Thy Neighbor, we began back in December 2012 with our first event. And at this time, I would like to introduce the team leaders that are here tonight. Myself, I'm Gina Pansera. I'm in charge of the food pantry. I help pick up the food, deliver the food to the Citizen Center. We started our warehouse that we currently have at Ski Electric, and also McDaniels have offered some of their space in the warehouse as well. We have Chris Buck. She's in charge of our website. She designs our website. She also works with communications and advertisements. Lillian Latham is part of the dining room, and she is also our treasurer. Jane Van Walzen, who is not here tonight, she is in charge of registration, and she also helps with the food pantry. Jen Johnson is in charge with the kitchen, and also she runs around the county to our number of sites and picks up the food for us every month. And then Shannon Sanchez, who is not here, she also volunteers with registration. We can currently be contacted in several ways. We have a website at www.lovethyneighbor-kg.org. We have an email that is kglovethyneighbor@gmail.com. And we also have a phone number that is 540-940-9846. And we have a new post office box, which is P.O. Box 16 here in King George. Our mission statement is helping meet the nutritional, emotional, and spiritual needs of others through the generosity of neighbors helping neighbors throughout King George and surrounding communities. As I said, our first event was held December 2012. At that time, we had roughly 40 to 45 families. We offer the event on the second Sunday of every month. And at that time, what we do is from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock is when the Citizen Center is open to our patrons. From 2 to 3, we have an inspirational hour, which Mr. Brooks has been kindly to come and speak at that time. From 3 to 4, we offer a meal. It's a restaurant-style meal that's served warm. We've had Castiglia's, King George House of Pizza, Julie's, also some local I say for Fredericksburg, caterers who have provided some meals. Thanksgiving, I have to brag, we had some wonderful smoked turkeys. They're awesome. And then we also offer desserts and drinks that are supplied by our volunteers. And then at 4 o'clock, we offer a food pantry, which each individual is able to go up and select the food that they want. We offer all non-perishable items, and we start with breakfast items. We have usually peanut butter and jelly, some nice hearty soups, rice, pastas, and then we also offer fresh produce when the market is open. And we also offer some some hygiene items as well. We have several volunteers. Other than ourselves, the team leaders, we average between 30 and 50 volunteers each month. They are very instrumental in helping us to perform this event. Sometimes we have no idea who's going to be there. And it always seems that somebody shows up and we have a very helpful event with a lot of help. Our first event, like I said, we had served approximately 40 families. Now we are up to close to 100 families. In the last year, we have helped over 450 families. That amounts to about 1,300 people, and of which 500 of them are children. At our event each month, we have roughly about 100 patrons that come that represent those families. Not all of the families come, but just the patrons come, usually the moms or the dads or the grandparents. Sometimes we have children that come. We have a children's corner where it's all open in the Citizen Center, and we have other children that help instrument that, or we have Girl Scouts that come. A lot of high school students will come, and they will just do crafts with the children, kind of keep them occupied while the parents are listening to the inspirational hour, and then also while they're eating or just kind of keeping them, active. I did forget to mention that Mrs. Bravo came one time in the beginning and helped in the food pantry. I actually didn't know who she was when she was there, but her and her husband and I believe her 2 daughters were there, and I'd love to have you back because you guys worked hard and I really appreciate all your help. All of our donations are done by neighbors, churches, businesses, and banks. We have several drop-off places for the food, and we also have change jars. And we go around each month and we collect that. We also have the Catholic Archdiocese that donates food to us about once a month, maybe once every other month. That's provided by Mike, can't remember Mike's last name, from Abbey Construction. He delivers the food directly to our warehouse. We also receive monetary donations via our website. We have a PayPal site. That has been very instrumental in helping us through the last year. We also advertise in the local newspapers, the Journal and the Freelance Star, as well as go around and place flyers in some of the high concentrated neighborhoods. I believe that's it at this time. I can ask my team if I forgot anything. Did you guys have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Pansera?
No question, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank you for the service that you provide. I remember when we first started talking about the utilization of the Citizen Center for that purpose, and you framed the need then, and it's obvious that you're meeting the need. You mentioned, I think, 50 volunteers per month serving 100 families. That's a pretty good ratio, and just to commend you for drumming up that level of volunteerism. It's one of the things that I've certainly learned in my over 10 years on this board, is that how many volunteers it takes to make a community tick, and this is certainly a great example of that as well. So thank you for doing all that you're doing.
I just would like to mention that one of the things that we try to do is we have a lot of interaction with the people that are there. We are love-line neighbors, so we like to try to instill a lot of love in the people and let them know that we're here for them. not only in need, but just to support them and to show them that we appreciate them.
I think, Mr. Chairman, there was a very warm feeling there that day when I was there, because there was a lot of love. You could see everybody there was very genuine, and the people that were there were very receptive to what was being given. But at that time, there was somebody giving haircuts to the young men there too. I thought that was very nice. So, commend you for what you do. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, and I think the whole board and the community thanks you, and we appreciate what you're doing. So, and thank you for the report.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Are there other organizations that are feeding similar to what you're doing? And maybe not the same type of program, you know, several hours and all that, but are there other feeding programs in the county that you're familiar with?
There are several churches that have food pantries that they offer. I know King George Church of God has a food pantry. I'm not sure when it's open and whose it's extended to.
Okay, they're giving food, they're not meals like yours.
No, I don't know of any other group that's giving a
My-
hot meal.
My sister runs something called Manna Ministries over in Culpeper, and they, it's like, I don't know if it's every day or if it's 3 times a week. I can't remember, because I'm sure she told me, but I don't recall. But and you know, and it's similar to yours. Sometimes you get 50 people, sometimes you get 100. But it's her job to make sure that there's enough food there for as many people as are coming. And it seems to me that kind of thing is needed here. I mean, on a regular basis, not just, I mean, yours is every second Sunday of every month.
Correct. There is the Micah Ministry in Fredericksburg, and
Yeah.
we do give out information to the patrons that come about the Micah Ministry, and they offer breakfast and dinner every evening at area churches throughout Fredericksburg.
There is a church in Fredericksburg that does a Friday evening I think it's once a month as well.
Oh, but we're in King George.
Yeah,
Right,
I know,
yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Can we get them down here?
Yeah,
Well, Cornerstone Chapel on 301, shortly after Love Thy Neighbor started, thought they'd try to address a weekday. So they did Wednesday lunch from 12 to 2, and they ran it every week for, I think, 5 months, and they averaged 2 people, so they decided it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, and lunch may not be the thing to do. I know my sister's is different. It's a meal. It's a
Just,
Anyhow.
yeah, Mr. Howard, I think that these folks are stepped up and have done what they're doing,
No, I'm
and
just
I think your plea goes out to the rest of the community.
It does.
We congratulate you on what you're doing and appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have a presentation by Mr. Philip Litma, CFPS, Senior Representative of the ISO Community Hazard Mitigation. And Chief, you're going to introduce.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. With me this evening is Mr. Philip Legos. He is a certified fire protection specialist with the Insurance Services Office and the Senior Field Representative. He's here this evening. He's going to be talking about our ISO reevaluation and our upcoming new ISO rating for the county.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to speak tonight. It's been a significant change in the fire insurance classification for the county. Last time we were here in the county was 2002, and so we just did an update in 2013, just like we do across the whole United States. We evaluate fire protection for insurance companies. And so I think, you know, right off the bat, the county is to be commended for hard work through the fire department, the water department, emergency communications, and when we get to this, it's good news, and I like bringing good news. There's a lot of communities where they go backwards, or flat, or kind of stay the same, but here in King George County, it actually improved its insurance rate. So, but first, if I could just briefly, I don't spend too much time on talking about ourselves, but I never know how much anybody really knows about ISO. Sometimes there's misconceptions, who we are, what we do. If I could just run through that. Sure. insurance companies. They're the ones that support us to do the work that we do. We help them manage their risk, their insurance policies that they underwrite. So we gather a lot of data, and then we give it to insurance companies to help them write their policies. So we're licensed to do this. We're approved by the insurance department, agency, whatever it may be, in each state to do this. We have what's called a fire suppression rating schedule. That's the document that has to be approved by each state before we can actually apply it. And we're monitored, and they audit us, and all of our information is kept secure. And we do visit across the country, fire districts, whether it be county, city, could be just a fire district within a county, it all depends. But here in King George County, you're rated as a whole county. And I'll get to the part where there's two different classifications for county, but you're rated all as one here. And so, we're trying to establish a fire insurance rate for insurance companies to help them price their policy. And so we're looking at just structure protection. We're not taking into consideration EMS, emergency medical services, just fire suppression of structure. And so the value to the community, can provide an incentive to increase your fire protection. If I could just toot our own horn a little bit, I think we do have a major impact on fire protection throughout the United States. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but as we visit fire stations constantly, water companies, 911 centers, and we tell them this is what we're using as our standard, it prompts them to make good changes, which directly affects fire protection. And so, we also inspect buildings for insurance companies and evaluate sprinkler systems, their internal protection. And we also identify when we're in a community where the hydrants are at. With the help of the water company, maybe the county has GIS data, geographic information that can help us plot where the hydrants are at, so we know where the hydrants, where the water supply is. And also, what I'll get to in a minute here is, in addition to the hydrants, here in King George County, you have the fire department's capability of hauling this water by tankers. Okay, and the fire department went through this whole evaluation, quite extensive. And not every community does this because it takes a lot of effort. Maybe they don't even have this type of capability in place, like here in King George with the tankers. So, we're going to identify where the hydrants are at, excessive response district, distance, which I'll get into, looking at here over 5 miles, we have a different class for that. Automatic aid coming in, who's coming in from the other fire companies from outside of the county? We identify that for insurance companies. So what the insurance company can do is then put an address into their computer system, and it will come up and tell them what fire district that property is located in, whether it be a home or business, how far it is to the nearest fire station, how far it is to the nearest hydrant, and so it will help them accurately write that policy. And so what goes into making up our valuation? There's really 3 main areas. 50% is the fire department, 40% is water supply, 10% is emergency communications. Now within the fire department, what we look at, the main areas is apparatus and equipment, training, and personnel. Within the personnel, a very heavily weighted factor there is whether personnel are volunteer, or what we like to call on-call,